one real quick off the top.
Wow. Well, we're only going as fast as my stream lets us go. So, and it's still not giving me it. You picked.
I picked.
Estate lip icing.
Wow, what a hell of a title. State
I know.
Lip icing.
I know, right? And this
I
one's
might
called
need that today.
the name.
My lips are dry. For some reason, my lips are dry today.
You ain't using my stuff.
See, now when I want to use it, no, you ain't have.
Because I know you're always going to say no, but the title of it's called Goody. You didn't hear the title. It's called Goody. It's a goody.
I thought it was. Oh, you were tricking me with the
No. Estate Lip Icing is the name, but the title of the color, the shade color, is called Goody. Well, you have the brand, and then you got to have the shade color. It makes sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to you?
No.
Oh my gosh, I just deleted all my stuff. National days really quick. Today is National, we'll go with Green Juice Day.
Wow.
And tomorrow it's going to be National Chocolate Cake Day. So
Well, at least we're picking up the pace.
yeah, go get yourself a chocolate cake and eat it.
Green Juice Day. Who the hell comes up with that?
Go drink some green juice.
Right.
Why not? Oh, blow your ears out. I got that. Okay.
Guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5 on IE Newswire on Twitch, Facebook, and
on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and share us all over your world, and go over to our Twitch account and hit that purple follow button so you get prompted every time this man's wearing that cowboy hat and goes live.
Yes.
And go over to our Instagram page and follow us there too.
Wearing the white hat because I'm such a fabulous person. Isn't the white hat the good guy?
So if I wear the black one, then what does that make me?
The black hat's supposed to be the bad guy.
Oh, let's do it. We got to switch hats though.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, but I'm not going to wear my hat. But you can rock yours. You rock the cowboy hat. Anyways.
I do something right.
I'm just trying to make you feel good. The
knew
cameras
there-
are
I
on
knew
and
there
we're
had to be a
rolling,
catch
so
in
I
there
figured,
somewhere.
you know what? I'm just going to give him a
Are
compliment.
we on Twitch yet, or did it go haywire?
Yeah, we're getting up there.
Oh well, I don't know. It's not twitching me on my Twitcher thingy. Anyway, lots of
I think that hat's cut off your circulation, buddy.
yeah, or something. Oh, there it goes. Finally hit the button on there. Well, I didn't think I.
No,
had
I don't know if I clicked it right. I'm going to go ahead and tell myself. But we're up. We're good. Go on Twitch. Hit that purple follow button.
So you were.
Get on there. Anyways, moving on.
This is Blank with Roy Day.
Yeah. I get it now. That, it took me a minute. Why not? We've got to have some fun around here.
There we go, yes, because when we get to the news of the day, of that,
Can't wait.
Joe Biden does something else. Rand Paul, put, we ran a little bit of that, but we might get into more of that today on some of the things that were coming up on the Senate floor of that. He put it up to a vote for the unconstitutional part of impeachment, and 5 Republican senators said it wasn't, and so the trial will go on. On top of that, some debate that's been going on across the board of all this stuff, and the racism and the stuff and the fraud and this and that. You hear all this stuff each and every day, and you people question this or do that, and you just can't make this stuff up. Mind you, the whole general fund budget of the state of California, what in the last go around was like $120 billion. That was basically running the government, funding the schools, doing the roads, da da da. Now they have another 50 or 70 billion that's like for specific projects. But general fund, which the state legislature and the governor have a lot more latitude on how to spend that money each and every day. Well, along came COVID and throwed a lot of people out of work through no fault of their own, through the stay-at-home orders, the lockdowns from Gavin's gulag. And Jim Patterson's been leading the deal. I think we need to do number 6.
I'm getting into it.
On that, so we can play the video coming up here. And
I was trying to be slick about it, and you told on me.
And
they had no idea.
And he's up in the Fresno area. He's assemblyman. He's been pushing this unemployment fraud thing before we were even to the COVID thing, and then this thing just blew up. The audit came out of what's been going on since COVID. California Unemployment Development Department admits to paying as much as $31 billion in unemployment funds to criminals. $31 billion, 1/4 of our general fund budget of that, and people who have got legitimate claims or have been on unemployment through no fault of their own, and solely on Gavin Newsom's say-so, or actions of putting all this, throwing people out of work right and left, they're not getting anything. Or they've been going 6, 8, 10 months and still not getting any unemployment checks. But here's ABC 7 report on the audit, quick one, and then we'll get into more of the particulars.
There's fraudulent claims that have plagued the EDD since the start of the pandemic. This afternoon, it confirmed billions of dollars have been paid out to scammers.
There is no sugarcoating the reality. California did not have sufficient security measures in place to prevent this level of fraud. Of the $114 billion in unemployment benefits paid by California since March, approximately 10% has been confirmed as fraudulent.
Staggering.
An additional 17% of the paid claims have been identified as potentially fraudulent.
Now, the EDD says it is working to verify the identities of people who made claims, and many remain under investigation. The woman you heard there, Julie Su, is expected to be nominated for the U.S. Labor Department by President Biden.
Get the weather you
They've
want
already
and get it now.
confirmed $10 billion of it, with another 20, and that number's going higher. That $31 billion is going higher. They paid out $114 billion in unemployment claims.
That's insane.
That's almost the whole state general fund.
How would it have gone that high and people are just now catching it after it paid out that much money? I mean, doesn't someone have a job to make sure that it's not fraud?
Yeah. His name is Gavin Newsom. He's your governor.
He's your governor.
And your state legislatures and senators and
but he's not the one at hand checking it, though. I mean, there is staff that should be checking that.
We ran the report when the first audit, when Jim Patterson was bringing this out, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, of the supervisor or the person that was working. Well, it was they're working at the DMV when they were doing that, and she was sleeping 4 hours a day. Not only did she not get fired, the supervisor.
I want her job.
Yeah, they've had the same or similar claims. The unemployment, they're running on 30-year-old technology. They told everybody. Now they're going after people because they told them not to. Okay, so if you're getting unemployment benefits, let's say you lost your regular job. So say you got a side job, you made a few bucks, that's supposed to come off your unemployment if it's not more than X amount.
Okay.
Well, the unemployment office said, don't send us any paperwork. They just were sending people out that were already approved on the claims. They were sending them out the full check. And they told them not to send anything out. Now they're going after those people for the overpayment when they tried to they tried to do the paperwork, tried to tell the state, yeah, we're making a few bucks on the side here. Don't say this is what it is. And they said, don't send us any paperwork because they can't handle it. And now they want to go back and take the money back that they overpaid and told them not to file the paperwork to tell them that. If this is not the top cluster foxtrot of all time, it's got to be in the top 3. They were sending unemployment checks to people in jail.
I'm sorry. It's not funny, but why the hell are the people in jail getting unemployment checks? What are they going to spend it on? Cigarettes? Can you buy cigarettes in jail?
I think so. I think they do have a.
I thought there was like a little. I used to watch those shows.
Yeah, there's
back
like
in the
a
day.
little,
little convenience store kind of thing.
Something or other. Yes.
That's crazy.
On and on and on. The fraud. The illegal. What was it? Baggy pants rapper that got $1 million. Bragged on the internet that he got $1 million out of this whole deal.
Did he really?
87 million claims under 97 names or some damn thing.
Did he really?
Yes. And
he didn't get in trouble?
Wrote a rap song telling about it.
Shut up.
And this guy
No way.
is not in jail. Well, we ran it on the show.
I totally remember that.
It was. I know you did. And this guy is not in. He should be the one in jail, not the poor people that they're going to come back at for taking the overpayment that they tried to report, and the unemployment department said, "Don't send us any information on this." I mean, if the ones that voted for Gavin Newsom, ones that voted for Jose Medina and Sabrina Cervantes in the Inland Empire, and Richard Roth, those are two of the main in the Inland Empire, the assemblyman and state senator. You should be the ones out there in earnest collecting the signatures to recall Gavin Newsom. And if not recalling them, because the assembly members are up in 2 years or so, or they'll be up in 2022, all 80 of them, half of our state. But you might want to recall Richard Roth, because I think he was elected in the last one, so he's got till 2024 to be our state senator in the area. But I don't know. The numbers are staggering. Do you know how? Not only, what is it? It's been up to $2 trillion we're in public employees' pension debt. We are blowing money right and left and front and center on this whole $114 billion in unemployment claims. Again, the whole general fund budget in the last go-around was like $120 billion, and we paid almost that out in unemployment claims, and probably $31 billion of that fraudulently, and that number is going to grow. When the bill comes to pay for all this stuff,
Annie writes in on Facebook. She says, so ridiculous, unbelievable to criminals. So why don't we all just be thugs and get paid?
Well, I can't argue with that.
Carla writes in, I miss you, Carla. No, I love seeing Gavin every day. He's cute.
Carla loves the voice. She just eggs me on to do the voice every time. And how could I deny Carla?
Don't you dare. I will cut your mic.
Carla's demanding it.
She is not.
She asked for it.
I miss Carla. She hasn't been around for a while. Oh, my
Carla,
goodness.
you should be the one. You're one of the ones in earnest. And I mean, I'm serious as a heart attack. And if you need petitions, I will get them to you. You should be the one out there on the street corner, dragging people out of their cars, getting them to sign the petition, www.recallgavin2020.com. Because this is beyond, not only beyond ridiculous. Again, when the bill comes to pay for all this stuff,
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, we will not be laughing about it. We'll be over here in tears. We'll be so broke.
I beat you to it already.
I mean, what else is there to say on this stuff? I don't know.
And he writes in on Facebook, Newsom should have to leave the office over that billions.
If this guy isn't the worst president in the 46 of that, and he's only been in office 5 days, I don't know what is. Pull up number 4, please. If this doesn't accentuate Sleepy Joe, but we got to run the rhetoric of that. We got 3 or 4 short.
Maybe he's just taking a breath and his eyes were closed.
Here we go.
Is he napping?
Slow Joe.
Yes, forced us to confront systemic racism and white supremacy. It's just been weeks since all of America witnessed a group of thugs, insurrectionists, a political extremist, and white supremacists.
We got to come up with the white supremacist of that each and every day. We're going to hear this of how we are a racist country. Systemic, I am going to get... You know, it's been almost 2 years since he had Amber Rochelle on. That was a couple of days ago in 2 years about that. And I asked her the question, do you know the definition of systemic? And I got a big blank stare. Systemic means whole. It's basically a medical term. If you have systemic cancer, that means it's like through your whole body. It means whole, everything. You're ate up with it. And that's why when you hear the big lie, you know where the big lie came from? We'll get into this maybe later on in the week. That came from Hitler when he was trying to get out in power. And that's what they came up with. You repeat the lie long enough, the Jews are going to come attack you and da-da-da-da or whatever. That's what you do. You keep repeating a lie long enough, people start believing it. Orson Welles, back in the day when he had the deal of coming on and, yeah, the aliens are landing and everybody was believing it. You know, you can use the power of the media to a lot of things. Here's the second little clip from his little 15-minute speech on racial equality agenda and his executive orders he signed today.
Into the previous administration's harmful ban on diversity and sensitivity training and abolished the offensive counterfactual 1776 Commission.
So there you go. Donald Trump put an end to forced white fragility, critical race theory, and all that. And you know why? Because the cops, when they were taking it in earnest all across the country, walked out on this crap. This shaming, this weaponizing whiteness, whatever that means, because there's no such thing, has got to stop. And you're going to get 4 years of it, no matter how long Joe's got in office, which is probably not very long, because they'll probably 25th Amendment the guy and get him out, because, as you can see, he is not capable of physically of doing the job. But of that, here's one more clip, and then we're going to get...
And then I want to read Carla's comment.
Then you can read Carla's comment.
Is our soul will be troubled as long as systemic racism is allowed to persist. We can't eliminate it. It's not going to be overnight. We can't eliminate everything, but it's corrosive, it's destructive, and it's costly. It cost every American, not just who felt the sting of racial injustice. We are not just a nation of morally deprived because of systemic racism. We're also less prosperous. We're less successful. We're less.
Donald Trump's presidency. Lowest black unemployment ever. Lowest Hispanic unemployment ever. Ever. Lowest unemployment 50 years overall. The big lie you just heard. Where does he get it? You heard it with Stephanopoulos, and Rand Paul throwed it right back in his face. Joe Biden said it. Joe Biden's pushing it. The dominant media is pushing it. And it will destroy this country, just like Hitler destroyed Germany and Europe and tried to take over America, and thank God we kicked his ass.
Not you, Carla.
I thought you were going to read Carlos.
I am. I was waiting for the dramatic pause, but then I started giggling. She wrote, "Oh my God, Roy, give him a break. He just got in." And I'm going to sum it up for the rest of it because it's kind of basically give yourself 30 days if you get a new job. So give him 30 days.
For what?
I love you, Carla.
This is
Yeah, but I mean, I see her point. Give him 30 days. Maybe. I can't do it. Maybe some big changes will come.
Oh, they're coming.
In a positive way. Carla also writes in on Facebook. Just what happened with the whole thing about the election being stolen, Roy. People were fed that lie since 2019.
Just as, and you didn't hear Rand Paul yesterday going against Stephanopoulos. That is not a big lie. They are not saying that. And if you don't think election fraud has went on, who knows to the extent. But Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States, did not take, and state legislatures in the contested states asked for more time to figure this stuff out, and he didn't do it. They're the ones that are saying it. They're saying we have anomalies in our system. So the big lie is you have to conform. We will browbeat you. We will tell the big lie. The big lie is coming from Biden and everybody else that's pushing this. They're not saying, they're not wanting to do debate. Let's put it out there. And I hope Trump, when he gets to the impeachment hearing, because he's got the stage, put it all out there in the line. This is Camille. He's on Bill Maher of this, and I'm just going to play the clip, and we're going to see how she rolls.
Towards equity, racial equity, and a focus disproportionately on outcomes is something that is rather new, but seems to have taken the country by storm. It's almost the only thing people can talk about.
Equity meaning as opposed to equality.
Equity as opposed to equality.
Which can you?
I can give you a practical example of that.
Yes.
COVID, we were just talking about a moment ago. We know that the most vulnerable population when it comes to COVID are older people. That if I took people over the age of 55,
sure,
that's 80% of the deaths. There have been actual conversations about prioritizing people on the basis of their race, because COVID is said to disproportionately impact black people relative to white people. It is a ridiculous proposition, but it's a proposition that's found its way into the mouths of governors here in California, the pages of the New York Times. We're actively talking about this kind of ridiculous, because we actually know, when we look at the global impact of COVID in the United States, again, 80% of the people who are dying are older, around 18% of the people who are dying are black. A life lost to COVID is a life that matters. And we can focus on the people who are vulnerable without making this about race. Making it about race only obscures the actual issue.
If you separate race from economic insecurity, sure, right? Like Hispanics are hospitalized at 3-4 times the rate of white people for a variety of reasons.
For a variety of
they're essential workers. Right. They're riding the bus from Boyle Heights to Beverly Hills.
But the important point is that it's not fundamentally about race. You can't un-Hispanic them. There may be different issues in their communities. It could be that they live in homes with more people. It could be that they live in more urban centers. If that's the case, the policy you're tailoring is for people in urban centers, not Latinos. This is a confusion of categorizing us from forging good policy. What you get is great sound bites You
Right.
don't actually fix problems.
It always, it makes people, there's this,
Towards equity, racial equity.
The big lie is trying to put race into it, as Camille said. Not dealing with the facts of the situation.
But I think you need to put race into certain things. I mean, I think it should stay with the doctors and everything else. I don't think there needs to be an open discussion about it. But you don't think that races get sicker or handle things differently than other ones?
He just explained it. It's maybe because they live closer, more people in the family live in urban, more compacted in urban centers than in rural centers, and there's a lot of factors that go into it that's doing this. But trying to push the race card in the whole deal.
Well, yeah,
or trying to
that I
make
disagree with.
Of that, it's part of the whole thing. We don't look at that. We knew the older people were the ones most vulnerable. What did they do? What did Cuomo do in New York? Sent 5,000 of nursing home patients back to the nursing homes, not only to their death, but spread it to all others that were very vulnerable.
Right.
We didn't deal with the problem. There never was. And now look at Newsom. As we're getting closer to getting the amount of signatures to recall his sorry butt, oh, well, we'll start doing maybe we'll rescind this little lockdown deal we've got on a bunch of gobbledygook statistics that we'll go through with Kelly Victory here in a little bit of that by the mortician came out with today. We were all going to die over the weekend. Our hospitals were overwhelmed. We can't handle this. If we don't stop this, we're all going to die on Monday. All of a sudden, that just all went away.
I know, it's crazy. But then I noticed that some things are still all outside. Like you can go to the hairdressers, but it has to be outside. Or you can go to a museum, but it has to be outside.
The big lie. Who's really telling it? Just like that. When the dude over there says, well, Hispanics, da-da-da-da, he said, no. Camille told it like it is. There's a lot of factors that go into that, but if you just want to focus on this, if Joe Biden wants to say that the systemic or this whole country is racist, then he don't need 30 days. He don't need 30 seconds. As Marjorie Taylor Greene is, the one that needs to be impeached, and the one that could be impeached is Joe Biden. He's actually in office. That's what it's about. In fact, I think, and I mean, I hope Trump does takes advantage of it. I think the dumbest thing the Democrats did was impeach Trump while he's out of office, and then putting the election fraud in the impeachment articles, giving him the opportunity to present his evidence. Which, for the most part, and in the only case he won, or one of the ones he won in Wisconsin, where they said, yeah, you can't use COVID as an excuse just to say you're incapacitated of that. You have to be actually on a life support system or confined to a bed or in the hospital to do that. That was a case that was actually won, and that was 250,000 votes. Mind you, Wisconsin was only won by Joe Biden by supposedly 10,000 votes. And was that illegally changed? As the Constitution of the United States says, federal election laws for president have to be passed by the legislature. Was that passed by the legislature along with a lot of other laws that weren't on that? Let's hear the facts on the evidence, not throwing it out on procedural motions like standing and everything else. I want to see it. I want to see the whole thing laid out. Then let's make a determination whether and what and why that happened. Because Joe Biden, what? There was like 2,000 people watching on the White House YouTube channel when he's doing this. If Trump was on, practically everyone he had was in the tens of hundreds of thousands. And this guy got 81 million votes. It's like $31 billion in unemployment fraud in California. These numbers defy explanation.
Are you saying it was all a lie?
That's the whole theory behind the big lie. Repeat it long enough, it becomes perception is reality. And there's whatever it was, I think it was a Nike commercial. No, and it is. In your world, if you believe it, it is your reality, even though it might not be further from the truth. It's like the old saying, you're entitled to your opinion, you're not entitled to the facts.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, guys. Hi, Stephanie.
Can we get 2 since I didn't get one yesterday?
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Sean. I'm telling. This is the only reason why I come on. This is my happiest part. Yesterday I was lost.
You poor thing.
I know.
Wow.
It's like, too bad I don't have your number. I can't just call you. It's not the same.
Romance on the radio.
All right, guys. One minute, guys.
Wow. That took a left turn. We're best friends. You didn't know that?
Yes.
We got matching necklaces and everything.
Wow.
True story.
Oh, well, we need something to break up the ever fun news that comes on each and every day here. We're going to have Dr. Kelly Victor coming on when we flip on the other side of the deal.
30 seconds.
Of that when we come on of that. But no, it's, it really is. And I mean, all seriousness aside, when the bills come due for all this stuff, I'm thinking Trump's going to be thinking, thank God I didn't win that election, because it's all going to be on the saddles of the Comos, the Newsom.
All right, guys, here we go. 10 seconds. King.com.
OEM Supply King. We got it!
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program.
Guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday at 5:30. The Mighty Bet. 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire. Joining our vast video audience on IE Newswire on Facebook, Twitch, and
on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and share us all over your world, and head over to our Twitch account and hit that purple follow button. Goes and rants.
I saw some. Yes. Espokikio joined us on Twitch. Says I'm on Twitch.
Hi, Susan from Ruba Valley.
Found us.
Welcome.
See,
so, how did you do that? I'm not there to set it up. I'm curious. I'm very proud of you, Mom.
Maybe Mom's smarter than you think.
Mom's brilliant. That's stupid.
Yes, and it's a good thing there ain't some recordings going on at some time.
There is?
No, I felt, wanted to acknowledge you that. Go check us out on Twitch or that.
Good job, Mom.
We need to come up with and we do, your suggestions on what platform we can get on that where we have control over this thing, because ever increasingly I don't want to be reliant on the big three like they did with Parler and everybody else. Just all of a sudden, no, you're gone of that. But I think they love my smiling face and cowboy hat and Stephanie too much to throw us off.
Yeah. We'll see.
We talked a little bit about...
Uh-oh. Mom is watching.
On the top of the show.
Love you, Mom.
On top of the show. $31 billion is reported, and probably growing. $31 billion in California in fraudulent unemployment claims. On the staggering number of $114 billion paid out when the state general fund budget before this was all going down was only $120 billion. We're telling you who's really shooting the big lie, and that's Joe Biden, Gavin Newsom, and that, and who is backing that play and that theory up. We had Camille, a longtime blogger, was on the Bill Maher show, and in 2 minutes set the record straight. And if you don't think so, if Joe Biden's going back on that, as Diane wrote down, Joe Biden's orders to block the deportation of illegals was struck down by a Texas judge. So we'll see where that goes on that. And yeah, Carla, we don't need to give Joe 30 days. We've had 50 years of Joe. We know what he's all about. And if there is an impeachment going on, it should be on Joe Biden coming through the that he can actually be constitutionally impeached. Rand Paul did put a point of order on, saying it was unconstitutional to do impeachment on Donald Trump, even though he is on the even though he's out of office, and he got 5 Republicans to strike that down. So the impeachment trial will be going on February 8th, and I hope Donald Trump does and sticks with his guns on that and shows up and demands to present all the evidence he has on election fraud going forward. And we'll see what goes on this whole deal. We're trying to get a Dr. Kelly Victory on that we have her scheduled for today, and we're still trying to make contact with her and get her opinion on the Gavin Newsom. I want to get her. Hopefully, we'll get her on to get her opinion on this and Gavin Newsom's big move on Monday, where he took us, where he all of a sudden made the big reversal and started peeling back the lockdown numbers or the lockdown edicts, where you can't associate with anybody outside of your family or anything else, and this, when we were all going to die from COVID come the weekend. The end was near. We can't find anything. You may kill grandma and all this other stuff. All of a sudden, over the weekend, all the statistics change and everything. The metrics are getting better, and we'll all be dancing in the wonder of Maryland, Wizard of Oz, and everything else. And everything will be okay, and we will not have. We will have 100. We will all live happily ever after. I suggest to you, this is coming down because of the petition that's out there. Over 1,250,000, I think, is the stats on signatures collected to date. They need 1.5 million good, probably 2 million to submit. They have about 2 months left to go to collect that amount of signatures. And at the rate they're coming in by the droves, it looks like the recall election of Gavin Newsom will be on in a heartbeat. And none too soon. It needs to happen. And this is going to be a historic event. Or maybe a historic deal. Because this has mainly all been done by a grassroots effort. There's not been, none of the party bosses or anything else to go back and forth. It wasn't like Darrell Issa, who put $3 million in on the last one to recall Gray Davis and had the Republican Party going after it. Now they have joined in, and a few donors have stepped up to the plate. But mainly this has been a grassroots, bottom-up, hey, we're tired of this. $31 billion in unemployment claims of fraud going on, and here we go. We ran that report. The bills coming due for this stuff is absolutely fantastic. And to sit there and explain to it, or Gavin Newsom, along with his cohorts, are out there partying at $1,000 a plate dinners.
I still don't get how anyone can pay that much for food.
I do.
That's insane.
40, I've heard, it might even be more than that. There were supposedly 22 people there, and I've heard reports that the total bill on that was over $40,000. That's almost $2,000. That's approaching $2,000 a plate at that. Well, no social distancing, no mask, inside, violating every rule that you can have. On top of that, thumbing his nose at this just like this. I'll give you an example. When Newsom was peeling back his stay-at-home orders, or you can't associate with nobody out of your household, restaurants are completely closed down, you can't get a haircut, anything else, he said, the mortician, Mark Galley, Dr. Mark Galley, who's head of Health and Human Services in California, came on today. And I'll give you the short version of what he said, of these statistics. They basically added up like this. Well, yes, last week we were telling you we were at 0% capacity, that this was a pandemic, it's getting worse, we're losing 500 people a day, da-da-da-da. On Tuesday, he said, well, this is the metrics that we forecast in 4 weeks, and this is why we're opening up. 2 plus 2 equals minus 5. Minus 5 divided by 100 equals 6,942. The square root of 6,942 is 1,947,000, and that's the stats we based on, that everything's going to be okay in 4 months, so we can open up now. And if you pick up on the math that I was just giving you, and it's 100, I'm giving you answers that are 180-degree opposite of what they are. And the stats and the science and data that they say they were using have not changed hardly an iota since they've been claiming the past 2 months we're all going to die of COVID if we don't lock ourselves in a hermetically sealed bubble. And Newsom, when he was asked a question on Monday, to sit there and deny, or say when he was asked a question point blank, has this got anything to do with politics and the recall effort and the 1.2 million signatures that have been gathered to recall your sorry butt? And he says, no, that had nothing to do with this. It had everything to do with it. Because the numbers and the science that you won't release, that you won't put in front of a peer review to let other experts see the numbers you're basing to make these arbitrary positions that you make each and every day. We are in worse shape. Not only that, and the fraud, the $31 billion and counting, given to criminals and people in jail on unemployment. $31 billion. I don't even think we ever had a deficit in California, even in the 2008 crash that was $31 billion. And we were paid out in unemployment claims $114 billion when our general fund budget was $120 billion to run the whole frickin' state of California.
Really quick, for those that are asking for questions on Facebook for Dr. Kelly, unfortunately, we were unable to get a hold of her. I did send her a text, so if she does write me back, then we can get her on.
Yeah, she might
last minute, but
yeah, she might have something come up, or
I'm sure there's an emergency or something.
Something come up on that. But no, and we'll try and schedule her later on in the week if possible to get the, because I want to hear her take on this a bit unequivocally, because this. I mean, take the French Laundry and the blown statistics and the whole thing of everything else and the arrogant attitude from Newsom to try and cover your butt like this, when you know darn well the statistics, if there wasn't a threat of COVID killing everybody or overrunning our hospitals and everything, you didn't say that about this on projections that in a month things are going to turn around and you can start doing these lockdowns and that now to release them. Well, what you've said before was all this stuff. You said it at Thanksgiving. You said it at Christmas. Oh, if you have Thanksgiving with your family, if you have your other family over, you're going to kill us, so you're going to kill Grandma. Well, why isn't it going to work today? What changed? What data do you have that changed that you didn't have in November, that you didn't have last August, that you didn't have last April? Because If you can't, then you are spreading the big lie. And it's you. There can be no more despicable human being that will use political power, the power of persuasion, and the bully pulpit of their office to destroy the lives of 40 million Californians, or as we did with Joe Biden, destroy the lives of 330 million people in the United States. Because just look at what Emperor Peng said at the Davos Accords yesterday. All of humanity is going to be equal. And that means equal under the Chinese Communist Party. Whereas you heard the aforementioned Dr. Kelly Victory, who's been to China many times, U.S., the taxi driver is the sky blue, and he puts his finger over his mouth and will not answer the question, because if he answers the question wrong, he will no longer be on the top side of the dirt on planet Earth.
I still think we should take a trip out there. There's got to be some good parts.
Oh, I'm sure there is. But I don't want to take the chance of being the one to be made the example of the Communist Party's regime, because that's where it is. And Hunter Biden. Why isn't Joe Biden investigating his son? Because who is the big guy?
Yeah, how did he get away with all that? What happened to all that stuff?
Because look at what Joe Biden was sworn in January 20th at 12 noon Eastern time as 46th President of the United States. At 12:04 p.m. January 20th Eastern Standard Time, the Chinese Communists are banning Secretary of State under Trump, Mike Pompeo, Dr. Peter Navarro, Steve Cortez, Steve Bannon, and a bunch of others. Because they were, they haven't run Trump, but Trump was probably the, if not the only, the president that stood up not only to, North Korea, but the Chinese Communists, and the Middle East and everything else, got peace accords signed in the Middle East when they said they couldn't happen. Told China, you're not coming in and stealing our intellectual property, invading our universities, stealing our engineering and everything else, and taking it over and killing our people. Joe Biden, as 50 years senators, vice president, and now president, has had a 50-year track record of giving the Chinese Communist Party everything they want. So when Peng of China, the ruler of that Chinese Communist Party, says humanity across the world is all going to be equal, that means you're going to be like the Chinese taxi driver. You're going to do as you're told, and if you step out of line one time, it's curtains for you.
I'm scared. We're not going to go that way. People won't allow it. Watch.
I hope you're right on that one.
I usually am, Roy. I usually am.
Supposedly 81 million people in the United States ain't buying it because they voted for Biden knowing all the particulars.
Stephen writes in saying that he heard that Fauci is the highest paid government official in office. Shut up.
$400,000. Made more than the president, anybody else.
No way.
Yep.
Who's he? Just kidding. That's crazy.
I wanted to get to this one because this was absolutely. We've done this about the teachers' unions and that, and they pushing the white supremacy and don't want to go back to school and the white fragility. This is in Paso County, New Mexico. Head of the teachers' union at the school board meeting, this is what he stepped up and said.
Educators, there are decisions to be made. You stand on the lawn of the U.S. Capitol as people break down barriers and head to the doors. Do you follow? You stand at the governor's stand of the grounds. Do you follow, or do you choose a different way? We must not ignore the culture of white supremacy and white privilege. We have seen it in the Free to Breathe, Reopen Everything, rodeos, and rallies that received county commissioner support. The same commissioner directs our health district. No one wants remote learning. No one wants remote learning, but it is the right thing to do. We know the equity concerns. Virus transmission is high, headed higher. With so many ignoring and avoiding measures to stop the spread, remote learning is the right decision. You've moved forward as the health district removes the barricades for you. You could choose a different way. You could move to pause in-person learning. You could ask for a new path that benefits all, not some. You could have the discussion and vote. You could choose a different way. Students are not coming to school. They live in multi-generational homes and have lost family members. We speak of equity. We speak of care of all students. And yet we listen and attend to voices saying, reopen everything and free to breathe, supporting white privilege. My family had to leave the Tri-Cities in '66. As minister of the First Presbyterian Church of Kennewick, Dad had the audacity to say Jesus Christ would not support a sign telling blacks, stay out of Kennewick after dark. He traveled registering black voters in the South, and white supremacists here were outraged. He made the right decision. You receive the same emails as I, calling teachers lazy or comparing teachers to store clerks. They complain their children are suicidal without school or sports. As a father daily surviving the suicide of my son, I find these statements ignorant and another expression of white privilege. Huge daily death tolls from this pandemic, seditious attacks at our Capitol, plus a new, more transmittable strain of the virus while our case numbers are rising again. You have the authority to hit pause. Allow time to find a way forward through the end of the year. You could choose a different way. Thank you, members of the board and Superintendent Whitney.
There you go. You hear the white supremacy argument, the whole incoherent. That was Scott Wilson, president of the Educators Association of Pasadena, going on and on and on about the white supremacy. And well, yeah, we all want to do remote learning, but we go safe and all this, and we can't, and da 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 da, and bringing up kids' suicides. Well, yes, it's on top of the whole thing. We've seen it from coast to coast. You hear the big lie each and every day of why you cannot open schools. There is no credible evidence that opening schools or spread COVID or anything else. Yet teachers across the country, and I could even buy the not opening schools, but to frame it as being white supremacist and white privilege and all this other stuff. Current president of the United States, he rescinded Trump's orders that banned this stuff from being pushed in our federal government. It's back in play. It's coming, and that's why they are more emboldened to do this. And it's really, in my view, a sad day in America that it's come to this point. I don't know what else to say about it.
I agree with you. Probably did call, and we're going to hopefully get her on. She had a medical issue of her own. Hopefully have her on this week.
Okay. So we will schedule.
To go back to this a little bit that I did pick up as you were talking. They're making it very hard. If my mic was on, making it very hard for white people to feel comfortable. I feel like they're just putting that bullseye kind of on them, and it's a shame. They need to stop doing that because we're never going to come together as a country or united ever if all this color stuff keeps coming out, in my opinion.
No, and remember, go back to Joe Biden's inauguration speech. He said unity, unity, unity.
Right.
Tell me how Joe Biden saying exactly or pretty close to the same thing this latest teachers union had said of that, trying to put, and we ran, this is Joe Biden's way, and we ran you the clips. It's about 15 minutes. You can go, it's Joe Biden's way of getting unity. You heard Camille on there saying this is all a bunch of BS. And it is. You want to take they keep shouting at Trump the big lie. They're the ones that let's even stipulate for argument purposes there was no election fraud. Big deal. Trump left office. One way or the other, whether he believes it or not or anything else, or is telling a big lie, he left office. Joe Biden is pushing this stuff on down and giving the dog whistle to everybody, to George Stephanopoulos and everybody else, to browbeat anybody down that steps out of line. And isn't that what they do in communist China? One humanity all across the world from Emperor Peng. That's what he said yesterday at Davos.
Yes. Is that the right answer? Multitasking. I'm great at it, as people can see.
Yes. No, I mean, you know, and again, it's like, it's kind of like the Paul Revere thing. You got to sound the warning shots. You know, the British are coming. You got to sound the warning shots of, you know, the warning call. This is what's coming down the pipe.
To end on a happy note, tomorrow's Chocolate Cake Day. National Chocolate Cake Day.
Are we going to have chocolate cake?
I don't really like chocolate cake. But for the people out there that do, I thought it would make them feel good.
There you go. We'll be back tomorrow to bring you all the news.
And, you know, we're really going to have some kitten videos coming up soon. Thursday.
Promising that.
I know. Thursday is Love Your Job Day or Happy Job Day or something. So Roy's not going to talk about anything sad. We're gone.
The proceeding was a paid program.
All right, guys, take it easy. I will talk to you Thursday. Bye, Stephanie.
Bye, Sean.
See you later.
Stephanie.
Bye, Sean. Oh, I got two. That guy.
Yeah, you can rest easy.
I can.
Ooh,
Except for the fact he kicked me out of trying to drop us on YouTube. So YouTube's getting